Hi everyone, Natsu Myers here again, back with another video. And in this video, I'm just here to talk about kind of the three dark sides when it comes to people who raise capital for mergers and acquisition purposes. Because there's a lot of, hype, and especially now when, you see huge idols such as Dan Pena and, a lot of idols from the M&A world. But I didn't really come from that world. I came from more just the consulting and cap raising space, going from tech and blockchain and things like that. And so when I see the two worlds collide, I see some kind of people ignoring the dark sides and dangers when it comes to people who go into mergers and acquisitions, things that people completely ignore. And so in this video, I'm just going to outline the three key, probably reasons why you shouldn't raise capital for mergers and acquisition reasons, and things that people don't hype up. And so the first thing that you shouldn't raise capital for, or you should consider before you go down the routes of raising capital for mergers and acquisitions, so people always sell you the idea that, you raise capital for you to be able to get, you let the seller pay for the loan that you're going to get to buy the business. And so if I were to bring everything down to the most fundamentals, that's the idea a lot of people sell. But the problem with selling this idea is that if you think about things that create innovation in companies, it's really, the profit, a company's profit is what gives a company its edge, and it's what keeps it competitive in the marketplace. And so if you go to a company, if you just think about this, you go to a company and you say, hey, I'm going to, use your profits to pay off a loan rather than invest back into the business, then I'm going to be less competitive in the marketplace. So the only thing that's going to keep this, and there's some industries that are more that are more nuanced in this. There's some industries that don't have this winners take most markets, but there's some industries that are, and the new industries that are unstable, that are, and industries like e-commerce and people who have these Shopify stores that are doing M&A for, or a lot of tech companies and so on. The market moves so fast, and so how can you take the profit and then use it to pay off the loan of somebody who lends you money to buy a business rather than reinvest in the business so that you can maintain that competitive edge? So then what has to happen? What has to happen is you have to have a team to be able to back it. And if you have a team that's able to handle it and able to keep it innovative. So the team has to be at least 10 times better, because in 5 years after the loan is paid off for somebody to acquire the business, then what has to happen is the person has to make sure that the business is still competitive in the marketplace in 5 to 10 years, which, if it's in an innovative industry, it's not. And so that's why a lot of people, look at asset-heavy businesses or businesses that are in quote unquote recession-proof industries, like construction and so on. Because sometimes there's less, things are less competitive in the sense of the marketplace, and you can afford to take out some profits. And so, that's one dark side. And, and it went into the second point of, making sure that you have a team that is innovative enough to handle the deal and to, take a deal in the right direction. Because you have to have that competitive edge if you're taking out the profits of a company in order to pay off the loan of somebody who gave you the money to buy the business. And so that's the second point. And then the third point is the dark side of when it comes to equity and when it comes to, the people that purchase the most amount of businesses, because 99% of the people that purchase the most amount of businesses, they put the down payment with their own money in. And that's not to say that you can't raise equity. We actually have a lot of members that we're working with 100% financing on Raises.com, but we're setting the expectation that, listen, you're going to, an investor that doesn't know you, and if you don't package everything up properly, and if you don't go through the process and you don't go in with the right mindset, if you feel entitled that everyone owes you something, and then, that, you have a deal that's a no-brainer, that's not how it works. These are people with real lives that, are seeking to invest in fill in the gap there. And so we work with people to do that, but people, it's not really something that happens overnight. somebody that hasn't acquired a business before, that hasn't had a track record before in a particular sector, asking for 100% financing on a deal that they've never acquired in the past. Because most of the people who acquire these businesses, they've already gotten one deal done, and because they've gotten that first deal done, they have the capital to put the down payment to another one and then use non-bank lenders to get the remaining debt. And because of that, they actually are the ones who sell people the dream that they can do it easily by themselves. And so when you look at those three pieces, first, making sure that when you're taking a company's profit and using it to pay back a lender, you're actually losing in the marketplace unless you're 100% sure that the company you're in is like, unless you don't want it to be around in 5 years. If you're not in a super competitive industry, this may make sense. Secondly, you have to supplement it with a team that can actually handle it. Because if you don't, who's to keep it innovative in the next 5 years, even in the construction industry? Because I've seen people run businesses into the ground, and these are the stories that nobody talks about. And then three, understand that equity and getting investors is not a joke. Many people, going from all these systems and things and marketing things, is that they don't see it, that there are private placement memorandums, there are checks and balances that have to be sought when seeking investors. It's not just a pony show. And so, if all those three things, make sure that look at the risks and benefits when it comes to people who are raising capital, and why people raise capital, and why people who do the most acquisitions do the acquisitions they do, and the benefits and the risks of using seller carry, of using the company's profits to pay off a deal. Because taking the money out of the company and not reinvesting back in the company or the employees, you're reinvesting it back into yourself so that you can actually own a deal and start posting on Instagram that you run a company and sitting on the beach. That's not really is what's going to fly in the long term. And so with this, thank you for watching this video. Head to Raises.com if you want to learn more, and I'll see you in the next video.